Chapter 5. There it is, Dad shouted over the roar of the small plane's engine. Icnic. That's the airstrip. I stared out the window at the tiny brown patch where we'd be landing. For the last half hour, I'd seen nothing but miles and miles of snow. Wow. It was so white. It was cool the way the snow sparkled in the sunlight. It made me think of Christmas carols. I couldn't get Winter Wonderland out of my head, and it was driving me crazy. I watched for giant footprints as we flew. How big would an abominable snowman's footsteps be? Big enough to see from a low-flying plane? I hope there's a restaurant down there, Nicole said. I'm starving. Dad patted her shoulder. We'll have a big hot meal before we set out. But after that, it's camping food. How are we going to build a fire in the snow? Nicole asked. We'll be staying in a little cabin, Dad replied. It's a long way out in the tundra, but it's better than sleeping in tents. There should be a stove in the cabin. I hope so, anyway. Can we build an igloo and sleep in that? I asked. Or dig out an ice cave? You can't build an igloo just like that, Jordan, Nicole snapped. It's not like a snow fort or something, right, Dad? Dad took the lens cap off his camera and started taking pictures through the plane window. Sure, he said absently. Uh-huh. Nicole turned to the window, too. I mimicked her behind her back. You can't build an igloo just like that, I mouthed. She acts like she's my teacher or something. It's really embarrassing when she does it in front of everybody at school. How are we going to find the cabin? Nicole asked. Everything looks the same in all this snow. Dad turned and snapped a picture of her. Did you say something, Nicole? I was wondering how we're going to find the cabin, Nicole repeated. Do you know how to use a compass, Dad? A compass? No, but that doesn't matter. A man named Arthur Maxwell is supposed to meet us at the airport. He'll be our guide through the tundra. I know Arthur, the pilot shouted back to us. He's an old musher from way back. Knows everything about dogs and sleds. He knows this part of Alaska better than anybody, I guess. Maybe he's seen the abominable snowman, I suggested. How do you know there is such a thing? Nicole taunted. We haven't seen any sign of him yet. Nicole, people have seen him with their own eyes, I replied. And if there's no such thing, what are we doing here? Some people say they've seen him, Nicole said. Or maybe they think they've seen one. I won't believe it until I get more facts. The plane circled the small town. I played with the zipper on my new Arctic jacket. I'd been hungry for a few minutes earlier, but now I was too excited to try to think about food. There really is an abominable snowman down there, I thought. I know there is. I felt a chill despite a blast of hot air from the plane's heater. What if we find him? What will happen then? What will happen if the abominable snowman doesn't like to be photographed? The plane flew very low now, getting ready to land. We touched down with a bump and taxied along the runway. The plane lurched as the pilot put on the brakes. Something big loomed at the end of the runway. Something huge, white, and monstrous. Dad, look, I cried. I see him, the abominable snowman.